Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now. And I am as serious as a heart attack when I say this, because MD-directed medical treatments, the leading cause of death in the United States. MD-directed medical treatments, the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. The only time you should bring your body to the office of an MD is if you have an emergency medical condition or you actually do, in fact, need surgery. However, remember, forewarned is prepared best. Harvard University says that over 55% of emergency room medical technicians and or doctors are addicted to street drugs, prescription medications, or alcohol. So if you're unlucky enough to be transported to the emergency room, make sure your emergency room a doctor is drug tested before you let them near you with a scalpel. Now, what we're talking about here today and every day are science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, the intention of which are to provide a rational, sound, educated, sophisticated, real medical intervention, a real health recovery strategy. Foundation boilerplate medical nutrition health recovery strategies, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's built-in God-given ability to fix themselves. Remember, your medical doctor may be the nicest person God ever created, but they are not trained in how to cure your disease. It should be illegal for MDs to say that they practice healthcare, because they do not. They practice disease management, and in point of fact, there is a gigantic difference between disease management and healthcare. So, forewarned is forearmed, and it's good to know stuff. We need to know stuff. There's a ton of stuff we need to know in order to march down the road of life. And Dr. Glidden is one voice crying in the wilderness. Well, we have a very special guest with us for the first hour this morning, a colleague of mine, Dr. Stephen Sabatier. Oui, le Frenchman, huh? Dr. Stephen Sabatier, let me give you his bio. Dr. Sabatier is a graduate of the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. He's licensed by the state of Arizona Naturopathic Physicians Medical Board. He's helped patients of all ages from North America, Europe, and Africa, while his practice encompasses primary care and family medicine. Dr. Sabatier's special interests include biological medicine, preconception health, biological rejuvenation with PRP. We're going to talk about that today. Natural beautification and medical aesthetics. How about that, ladies? Toenail fungus solutions, knee pain relief, and joint restoration. And he serves as a private physician to Real Health Direct members. His website, which I'm going to put up on my live stream here in just a second, realhealtharizona.com. That's realhealtharizona.com. He has a private practice in Chandler, Arizona. So if you're listening in the Arizona area and you'd like, to have a naturopathic physician in your back pocket, and Dr. Sabatier is just the man for the job. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sabatier. Dr. Sabatier, welcome so much to the program.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, likewise, it's always good to be in the company of like-minded individuals. And this is why I look forward. Half of me looks forward to going to the annual Naturopathic Medical Conference. Of course, the other half doesn't, because there's our profession is listing heavily in the direction of green allopathic medicine, and quite frankly, there are very few holistically oriented, believe it or not, naturopathic physicians that still exist on planet Earth. I'm happy to say that you are one of them, and it's my singular pleasure to have like-minded people on the show with me, people who have my back professionally, so to speak. So tell the listening audience a little bit about your history and a little bit about your areas of special interest in your medical practice in Chandler.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Glidden. And first, if I may, I just want to say I'm really happy for your audience, and thank you very much for what you just said about being aligned holistically. I've been listening to your CDs in my car, and it's wonderful to be encouraged and inspired with a similar philosophy of natural healing. So thank you for making your materials, doing your show, and sharing what you share. It's fantastic. Here in Chandler, I had when I was growing up in Southwest Louisiana, my family's French. I'm 13th generation Frenchman from France that came over to the Southwest Louisiana area, and I grew up there. And I had a full scholarship to MD school, and I went there, and I learned from your CD. We have similar background there with our pre-med experience, but
Yeah.
I said, wow. I said, where in the curriculum here am I going to learn about food and nutrition and how what we think and spirituality and just the totality of a person's life affects their health? And it wasn't there. And so I then went to a DO school in New York that offered me a full scholarship, and they flew me up and checked it out, and they had 80 extra credits of osteopathy, but again, I just didn't see what I was looking for, and so I wandered around for a couple of years trying to decide if I was still going to be a doctor or not, because I had wanted to since I was about 8 years old. I'm on a family video recording saying, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. And I didn't know if my dreams were going to happen or not. And so I went and did a master's in business administration and healthcare administration, and I worked in a hospital. And it's so interesting that you acknowledge in your introduction about how it's dangerous and to go to an MD's office and the published information. And I was living it in the hospital. I was on the quality control team doing JCO commissions, applying for awards, negotiating contracts with big insurance companies, and I just saw a disheartening separation from actually caring for people's health. It blew my mind. It really blew my mind to see the internal workings of the healthcare system from an administrator's point of view. And I rotated with all the executives of the entire team of one of the largest systems in the state of Louisiana. And I left that thinking, wow, definitely not going to fulfill my dreams here. And my best friend, who happens to be my wife of 9 years today, said, well, why don't you look at a naturopathic medical school?
Isn't that interesting?
And she just happened to catch it on a road trip a couple years before when she was passing through Arizona. Somehow she got on an email list for the then burgeoning Southwest College Naturopathic Medicine, which is not as old as your alma mater.
Right.
And I looked into it, and just like yourself, 4 months later I was enrolled.
Yeah, right. That's how it is, right? Yeah.
And I was there, and like you said, right place at the right time, dreams fulfilled. Yeah. And so that's what got me here to Arizona. At the time, there was 6 schools where it snowed and 1 in Tempe, Arizona.
Well, being a Louisiana boy, I'm sure that was a factor. I have to tell you, I lived in Seattle for a long, long, long time, and the last year that I lived in Seattle, and all my Seattle, friends, I hate it when I say this, but the last year that I lived in Seattle, it rained for 93 days in a row, and that was it for me. I was done. I had to leave. It's a very interesting microclimate up there. Of course, it doesn't get cold like it does in the rest of the country, but you have to really like the rain in order to live there. A lot of people really do, but I can understand why you, leaned towards the Pacific Northwest, and you were in a more fortunate situation than I was, because when I was in medical school, there were only 2 medical schools of naturopathy in the world. There was Bastyr University, which was Bastyr College of Naturopathic Medicine in 1987, and the National College in Portland, Oregon. So it was either Portland or Seattle, and I chose Seattle, and there's been no looking back. So how long have you been out of school, licensed, and in private practice?
Let's see here. Just over a year.
Yeah, and are you working all by yourself, or are you with a group, or what's the deal?
Yeah, we have a fantastic location here in Chandler. There's 2 naturopathic physicians here, and just before this call, we were interviewing our third to bring a female onto our team to offer a complete coverage of everyone's needs. And we share space with an internal medicine practice.
Uh-oh, look out.
And so we put a poster in the waiting room, and people become aware of us.
Right.
And I decided that was a fantastic model since they have such high volume every day.
Well, yeah, if you can't, that's that's one way to do it. You can kind of follow along in their coattails and pick up extra patients, because quite frankly, I mean honestly, Doc, my experience after 25 years of private practice is that once people know exactly what it is that we do, and once just a handful of people have direct personal clinical experience with you, then within a year, maybe 2 max, you're going to be maxed out with patients. You're going to be looking for other people to bring on because you're going to be so busy. Why are you going to be so busy? Because these therapeutics work.
Right.
And conventional medical therapeutics for chronic diseases don't work.
Right.
And the only reason that, our colleagues suffer is because of lack of knowledge. The general public just is not aware of naturopathy. Very few people know what it is. Insurance, I'm assuming, covers what you do in the great state of Arizona?
It does. It depends on the person and their policy and whatnot. And so we have quite a mix happening. Based on my experience in healthcare administration, time, efficiency, cost, we've decided to not personally contract.
I think that's a great idea. Hey, hold on to that thought. We're up against a hard break. Coming back with Dr. Stephen Sabatier after these words. This is Fire Your MD Now. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, encouraging you to go to YouTube and check out the live stream, thedrgliddenshow.tv, the DRGLIDDEN show.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. Check it out. Join the live chat. There are currently 60 people watching on YouTube and 65 people in attendance in the chat room. We got close to 200 viewers yesterday, and that was a good deal. Maybe we can exceed that today. Talking with Dr. Stephen Sabatier, a recent graduate of the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. His info is up on the live stream. The office number, if you'd like to call his office, schedule an appointment if you live in the Arizona area, 480-726-7800. That's 480-726-7800. Or just go to realhealtharizona.com. I have to tell you, Dr. Sabatier, that it's kind of a breath of fresh air to have a like-minded naturopath in the studio here with me, at least virtually. It really, I feel myself just relaxing a lot internally, just knowing that I have a like-minded individual to talk to. I appreciate your time here very much. So let's talk about, your area of specialty, which I believe is a very interesting therapeutic which addresses toenail fungus of all things. Let's talk about that.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Glidden. So today I'd like to focus, as you mentioned, on something that affects people typically between 40 and 60 years old, though it does happen earlier, males and females alike. Sometimes more likely in males than females for whatever reason that may be, and is typically about 3% of the U.S. population. And that's what's diagnosed as onychomycosis or toenail fungus. And you're welcome to throw up a picture of that. People may recognize toenail fungus as a yellowing discoloration that starts at the tip of the nail and then moves towards the skin. And another characteristic sign is vertical striations, which is vertical lines that start to become very distinct in the toenail. And there can be variations of colors. I've seen all kinds of cases from just getting started to really severe. What happens after the yellow discoloration is the nail starts to lift from the bed. And so if you're looking at someone's nail on end, like if you turn and look at your own fingernails, and this can happen in fingernails, by the way, as well, you'll start to see some space separating between the nail bed, the skin, and the bottom of the nail. And it'll start to look kind of crusty. And what's happening there is a type of fungus called a dermatophyte, and this is more than 90% of cases as published. Candida albicans, typical white candida fungus, is about 5% of cases. So most of the time it's dermatophytes. And this little guy likes to live in the nail. And what's happening is they're actually eating the keratin. Keratin is the protein that makes our nail hard. So you ever tap your fingernails on your desk or on a glass window or something? That strength in there is keratin protein that your body creates to make your nails strong and non-permeable. And this dermatophyte consumes that keratin, which is why when a nail fungus infection goes unchecked, the nail will start to crumble into particulate and dust. And I've seen cases come in, they almost have no nail left.
I hate it when that happens.
Just very little. And that looks pretty well eaten up as well. So that's what's happening. And shall I continue, or do you have any questions?
Well, no, it's the pathology here is really pretty straightforward, right? And this can be either a mild thing, it can be a moderate thing, or as everybody in Louisiana knows, it could be a big bad voodoo daddy thing.
Wherever it's warm and wet, that's right.
Yeah, right. So, especially in Louisiana. By the way, you don't do any Cupid doll stuff, do you? Should I be nervous if this interview goes south? Should I be looking for any type of voodoo magic stuff to start happening in and around me or not?
Only as much as within my scope of practice.
Well said. And hail, fellow Wellmutt. We have a hard break coming up here, Dr. Sabatier, so hang on to those thoughts. When we come back, we'll be talking about strategies to get on the other side of toenail fungus. A lot simpler than you think it is, and quite frankly, your MD would struggle to be able to come up with a therapeutic as effective as what Dr. Sabatier is about to roll out for us, and it's free right here on Fire Your MD Now. Don't even think about touching that dial. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, and encouraging you to check out the live video stream, thedrgliddenshow.tv. Talking to Dr. Steven Sabatier out of Chandler, Arizona, about one of his specialties, interestingly enough, toenail fungus. All right, Doc, so line it up for us. What are you going to do? What's the secret sauce here to support and promote healthy nails?
Dr. Glidden is in 3 stages. The first stage is to directly kill the fungus. And for this, we use an infrared laser. Now, if you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, you got X-rays and cosmic rays. That's called ionizing radiation. That stuff will give you cancer and change your cells. Then you got visible light, and at the top of visible light is red light. And right above that is infrared light, a 1064 nanometer wavelength. And that's what we use, a safe and effective infrared. Have you ever told your listeners about infrared sauna?
I have.
Okay, so we have one of those in the office as well for people to use. It's the same type of safe light energy that us naturopathic doctors would recommend. And we're going to shoot it they're going to apply it right over the nail where the fungus infection is. And patients barely feel anything. You might feel a little bit of warmth. But what happens is the laser light penetrates the nail to where those dermatophytes are feasting on the keratin, and it heats them up, and they get too much energy that they just literally explode and die right there on the spot. So
I love killing dermatophytes. That was one of my favorite pastimes when I was a kid. We would just kill as many dermatophytes as we possibly could. So how long do you apply the infrared for? Is it a minute? Is it 5 minutes? Is it an hour? What's the time signature here that we're looking at?
It's less than a millisecond per spot. And
Really?
so we do all 10 toes. We think it's the most ethical thing to do because you might be carrying it in one toe even though you don't see it, and it'll spread back to the other toe. So we just treat all 10 toes every time, and the whole thing takes less than 10 minutes.
I got to love that. Completely non-invasive.
Completely non-invasive, very comfortable. Yep. And that's how you kill the fungus immediately on spot. Now, that's an incredible alternative to taking oral antifungal medication.
Or having your toes cut off. I had a patient in my first year of practice in 1992 in Massachusetts. They came to me bad case of toenail fungus, and the MD's recommendation was to cut the toes off. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, you know, as stupid as stupid does, right? And when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And
That's right.
Right? This is the biggest thing that people need to understand about conventional medicine or any type of medicine, right? I mean, you wouldn't go to a chiropractor expecting them to be able to do, a facelift or
Exactly.
or remove kidneys from the body. Well, we shouldn't go to MDs expecting
Exactly.
any type of curative treatment because that's just not their wheelhouse. All right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we've got the infrared that's killing it.
Yep.
What do we do next?
The next phase is supporting your own body's healing ability and your own immune system to clear the fungus from the inside out. And that's going to come with a high-quality probiotic, a variety of strains, and a lot of CFU, colony-forming units, a high dose. You're looking at 25 to 50 billion a day.
All right. Now, I'm interested as to what you were taught, because you're a recent graduate of
Sure.
Naturopathic Medical School. Were you taught any distinctions around the supplementation of probiotics in order to increase their ability to pass through stomach acid unscathed? Was that ever spoken about?
Not unless I brought it up. I asked a ton of questions.
So what's your take on this? I mean,
everywhere I
right?
go.
So it's a living organism and it's in a capsule and we're going to swallow it and it's going to drop right down into the acid bath of the stomach. So what type of probiotics have you found to be most effective and what's your dosage schedule?
I tell you what I've learned about dosage, Dr. Glidden. I tell the patients, my patients, take it whenever's best for you. And some of them take it before the meal, some of them take it after, some of them take it at night. I personally like at least one dose a day, if not two, at night, because I know that the digestive tract is slowing down and healing and repairing itself. And I think it allows a good 12-hour window for them to replicate and populate before the next bowel movement or food passing through.
Yeah, okay, good.
Now, people lean on both sides, the stomach acid, how many, and that's why I go with so much that no matter what happens, I know some of them are getting there alive.
Right.
And
Well,
so
yeah,
I
that's
just
a
kinda
good
take
strategy, right? I mean, that's what nature does. That's how nature keeps, schools of fish alive and flocks of birds at strength in numbers. It's not a bad strategy.
That's what I've done, and I've seen people improve with a high-quality probiotic in various ways and timing of dosage. So I'm happy if they're getting in, period.
All right, so how long are we going to be dosing people with probiotics to get on the other side of the fungal infection?
3 months.
3 months, got to love it.
3 months, because that's going to be about how long it takes for that new nail to completely grow out clear.
Right.
So you'll start seeing it in 4 or 6 weeks. You'll start seeing new clear nail coming out. But we want to push out all that old nail completely before we say we're in the clear.
Oh, you got to love it.
Yep. Now the third phase, and this is the one where the patient's really empowered on their part, is preventing reinfection. It's everything you're going to do when you're not at my office. And this happens a lot in shoes, shared gyms, showers, swimming pools, athletic events, dojos or mats where people do gymnastics and yoga and martial arts. And so what we found to be incredibly effective and what we highly recommend is a device called SteriShoe. And I sent you a link that you can share if you like, and when you open that, it has a video and shows how SteriShoe works. And SteriShoe is an ultraviolet light. Now remember, ultraviolet light is on the other end of that spectrum. It's like sunshine. It's radiation. So you don't want this ultraviolet light on you, okay? So what you do is you put it in your shoe, and it comes with a little bag that encloses it, which prevents any light from scattering outside of the shoe. And ultraviolet light, this thing's approved for killing 99.99% of bacteria and fungus in your shoes.
Gotta love it, man.
It's automated. You just plug it in, you push the button, it runs 15 minutes, it turns itself off. And so when you come to the office and you invest in getting rid of the fungus for good, you know, a lot of patients come in, they've had onychomycosis 10, 12, some even 20 years that they've been working with their MD, taking harsh drugs, taking creams, over-the-counter stuff, spending money every year, not working. When you decide to get it done for good, you don't want to go back and reinfect yourself. So you use the SteriShoe for any pair of shoes you're going to wear, new, old, anything. It's just 15 minutes, once a day.
Love it.
And that's what we do. And that's our 3-step process, and it's proven to work well for our patients.
You know, as a little segue here, it's an interesting thing to talk about, and this is an aspect of medicine, I think, which really has, you know, finally, thank God, come into the foreground here and out of the background. The more progressive hot tub companies now, instead of using chlorine and harsh chemicals to kill bugs that, you know, are in the water inevitably that's circulating through a hot tub, they use an ultraviolet light.
That's right.
And it does a much better job than the chlorine does, and it's completely, you know, there's no chemicals, it's no harm, no foul. Quite frankly, I don't know why people.
It's safer for our patients. That's right.
I know, right? So this is a great thing. I mean, this is really it harkens back to the Rife field frequency generators, right? Using energy, ultraviolet energy, and radio frequencies.
Yes.
In order to disrupt the biological process of nasty crap that's in the environment, in, out, up, down, and all around. Really very progressive stuff here, Doc. Really great stuff. Let me put your website back up here.
Okay.
The website, ladies and gentlemen, to go to if you want more information, realhealtharizona.com, real, R-E-A-L, health, Arizona.com, and Dr. Sabatier's office number, if you live in the Chandler, Arizona area, 480-726-7800, 480-726-7800. Give them a call, check it out. And it's always a good idea to have a naturopathic doctor in your back pocket, because you never know what life's going to throw at you. And, you know, maybe something bad's going to happen when Dr. Glidden's out of town, or, you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, or it's a weekend, or whatever, when we're not doing webinars or all of the other public outreach that we do. It's always a good idea to have a living, breathing, experienced, holistically oriented naturopathic doctor, and I can't emphasize this enough. Now, Doc, I want to change gears here a little bit,
Sure.
And talk about something that, and really, I don't know how much you've listened to this radio show, but here's the deal. We don't cut corners here. We're somewhat politically incorrect, but we're politely politically incorrect. I don't screen any of my calls. You know, we just take it all as it comes, and we talk about stuff often that people just don't want to talk about here. But nonetheless, this is what we do, and I value honesty and integrity above all else. So here's what I've heard around the the water cooler.
Okay.
In the naturopathic profession for the last few years.
All right.
I've had lots of students, from the last, let's say, 10 years, and it doesn't really matter what school they've been in, whether they've been in Bastyr or National College or at Southwest College or Bridgeport or even up in Canada. But I've had lots of students tell me of their own accord. I wasn't like coaxing this information out of them. They just came up to me because, I'm outspoken.
Sure.
And they said, that really when I was in naturopathic medical school, we really weren't taught holistic naturopathic therapeutics, and we had to go elsewhere to secure that knowledge. You as a recent graduate, I'm very interested in what your experience of that was. Well, what's up with that?
I learned most of my holistic nature cure, naturopathic, nature-based therapeutics and how the body heals and the laws of cure outside of my curriculum.
Right.
I speak at the orientation. I'm coming up in October. I'll be speaking at the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine orientation. And I encourage students, your education is going to be what you make of it. Don't graduate and blame it on your teachers. Go get what you want and get what you need. And that's what I did, and I tore it up. I consulted so many docs, read so many books, and, the med school, they tell you in the mission up front, they're designed to get you licensed for safety to practice medicine. And I think we've seen a shift over the years. It's shifting more towards a mix, an integrative model.
Which I'm completely against. And here's a hard break. I'm going to talk more about this. It's a subject near and dear to my heart. Stick around, folks. We're finishing it up with Dr. Sabatier when we come back. It's us coming over the hill to the rescue, ladies and gentlemen. Youngevity Nation worldwide, bringing to the public stage Dr. Wallach's genius, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition boilerplate, Foundation Medical Nutrition Therapeutics for the Masses. Now, Dr. Sabatier, you are a recent Youngevity inductee, is that correct?
That's correct.
So when did you meet Dr. Wallach, and what are your impressions?
It's really fascinating. I'm so happy to have met him in person just about a week and a half ago at the AMP conference. What's interesting, though, is 5 years prior, Dr. Jim Sensenig recommended a book, Rare Earth Forbidden Cures, and I went and got it out the library, and I was the first person to ever check it out from the library.
Isn't that crazy?
And my classmate, Dr. Jason Way in California, was the second person to ever check it out.
Yep.
And that is so fascinating, and so it was so rewarding to say, wow, you're that Dr. Wallach? And when I met him, what was my impressions? My impressions, Dr. Glidden, is what my behavior was. I canceled my schedule, and I spent as many hours as possible with him. I probably spent about 8 hours total with him that weekend. I drove him to and from the airport. I attended one of his seminars, and I just hung around him as much as I could to soak it up.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I've been doing this for 25 years now clinically, and got great results, as most naturopaths do, with, pre-Dr. Wallach information. But honestly, since I've been following Dr. Wallach's recommendations, since I've been leaning on his research, since I've been using his health recovery protocols, I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore, because the things that I've seen people recover from following Wallach's lead are unbelievable. I've seen people come out of comas. I've seen type 2 diabetes resolve in 3 weeks. I've seen high blood pressure of 30 years resolve in 2 weeks. I've seen some remarkable stuff that I just didn't think was possible before I met Dr. Wallach. And one of, I think, life's greatest ironies is that the most holistic, naturopathic health message, grounded in science and pragmatic clinical protocols that I've ever heard, comes out of the mouth of, this short little Midwestern farmer ex-military guy who the last person on God's green earth you would expect this message to come from. I mean, the last person on God's green earth you would expect this message to come from, and there it was. And, one of the turning points in my life was going finally, right, 19 years after I knew about Dr. Wallach, finally getting it straight and attending one of Dr. Wallach's lectures. And, I have to tell you, Doc, since I've been involved with longevity, I have the distinct feeling, the same feeling that I had when I was in medical school, that I was in the right place at the right time doing exactly the right stuff. I'm very excited for what's ahead for you because, no kidding, and there's no BS here, Dr. Wallach's therapeutics eclipse in effectiveness anything I was taught in naturopathic medical school. And when I was taught naturopathic medicine, it was actually holistically oriented. I mean, we were all in with naturopathic philosophy all of the time. We didn't have to hunt and search for it. It was given to us. And coming from that perspective, being able to say that Dr. Wallach's therapeutics are so much more effective than anything I was taught, well, that's really saying something. I'm very excited for what's going to happen with you moving forward here. So lean on the upline, lean on Dr. Wallach. Anything I can do to forward your knowledge base here, we're all in because, like my second cousin, 7 times removed, Benjamin Franklin said, ladies and gentlemen, we must all hang together, or most undoubtedly we will hang alone. Dr. Sabatier, regretfully, we are out of time. The website, once more, folks, realhealtharizona.com. That's realhealtharizona.com. The number, 480-726-7800. That's 480-726-7800. Doc, see you around campus. Until then, live long and prosper.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Dr. Glidden.
Stick around, folks. Hour 2 coming up after these messages. Welcome back, everybody. It's hour 2. Can you believe it? My, oh my, how time flies. People have been waiting patiently on the phone, so let's get to them right away. Israel from Tennessee. Hey, Israel. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Yes, Mr. Dr. Glidden, I heard about Dr. Joe Wallach's package. I'm suffering from a bipolar disorder since I was a teenager, and I've been in trouble with the law about 3 times. I would like to know what should I get from Dr. Wallach's package?
Okay, it's a great question. Bipolar disorder, right? That's really that's a tough weight to bear. Walking down the road of life. I mean, it really is, because nobody can see bipolar disorder, right? It's going to be different if you were in a full body cast, then you'd get a lot of sympathy from everybody in your life, or if you're in a wheelchair or on crutches. But when you're dealing with bipolar disorder, nobody can see it. Nobody really can understand the amount of stress and strain that illness is perfecting on your body. It's a big bad voodoo daddy. And, of course, conventional medicine has little or nothing for this. Quite frankly, they have nothing for this. So what we recommend people do when they are up against a diagnosis, either presumptive or definitive, of bipolar disorder, is to get on board with a medical nutrition strategy, the intention of which is to support and promote healthy central nervous system function. So how much do you weigh, Israel?
204 pounds, and I'm 5'8".
Okay, 204. So that means you're about, 30 pounds overweight, right?
I'm overweight because of the Zyprexa I'm taking. I'm taking Zyprexa and lithium.
Okay, good. Well, lithium's good. I don't know about Zyprexa so much, but in any event, here's what I would do if I were you at that body weight. And I would do this as an experiment for 6 months. You're going to have to do this for 6 months before you judge it up or down. And I would gainsay that you would be able to get some traction with your health within the first 4 weeks. And remember, Israel, what we talk about here are holistic therapeutics, right?
Okay.
Right? Because from our point of view, everything's connected. Right? I mean, everything's connected, man. So when you get on board with a good nutrition program, a good holistic nutrition program, while we're waiting for, in this case, your brain chemistry to straighten out. You should also look to see and be waiting to experience better energy, better mood, better sleep, better appetite, right? Better bowel movements, better everything, because everything's connected here, and this isn't just, a therapy that's trying to upregulate your biochemistry of your brain. That's not what we do. That's what the MDs do. So you need to be mindful of your whole body-mind system here, right? And while you're involved with this therapeutic, look to see across the board what improves. And then once you do get improvement, my energy's better, my sleep's better, my concentration's better, my sex drive's better, whatever it is, that's a herald and a hallmark that we're on the right track, and then we just need to maintain the discipline and give the program enough time to generate results in the area that you're looking to see results generated. So the recommendation would be for you, there's a product called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. It's a long name. It's a ponderous name. It's called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. You need two of those.
Healthy Body.
Yep. Start Pack 2.0 liquid.
2.0 liquid.
Yeah, you need two of those a month. And 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, S-E-L like Larry, E-N like Nancy, I-U-M. 4 Ultimate Selenium.
2 bottles of selenium?
4.
4?
Yep. 4 selenium and 2 of the Healthy Body Start Packs. And now, that's the first thing. The second thing is there are 10 foods that you need to stop eating. There are 10 foods that you need to stop eating, and you can get that list for free on my website. Dr.
I've been watching
Glidden.
it last night.
Yeah, okay, great. So, hunt around on the website for my good food, bad food list. It's free. Identify the bad foods and eliminate them from your diet. That's number 2. Number 3, you need to consume foods that are high in cholesterol. That's right.
Okay.
High in cholesterol. So
I already have a high cholesterol as they label me, so.
Okay, great.
I love eggs.
All right, that's good. As far as we're concerned, that's a good thing. So you need to stop eating margarine. You need to stop eating oils. You need to start eating real butter, full-fat milk, full-fat cheese, full-fat dairy. If you're a dairy eater, you don't need to eat dairy.
I don't eat dairy. I kind of cut it off of it.
Yeah, that's okay. So if your cholesterol is high in your blood, then I'm okay with that. But then you need to just focus on eliminating the 10 bad foods and taking these nutritional supplements. Now, be warned that when you take a nutritional supplement into your body, it increases the effectiveness of the drug. So you want to read up on the side effects of the medications that you're taking, because it is entirely possible that after a couple of weeks of, good, solid nutrition into your body, that the medications you're taking will start working stronger and more efficiently, and you may develop side effects of too much medication.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So you need to understand, what does too much lithium feel like? What does too much Zyprexa feel like? And if you start to feel like that 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, then you need to go back to your psychiatrist and have him reduce the dose.
Okay.
But notwithstanding that, this should produce slow and steady results in your body. And I would be very surprised if you didn't feel anything remarkable within the first 4 weeks. So I'm actually kind of excited for how you're going to feel here, Israel. How'd you hear about us anyway?
I hear about that. I called a friend of mine, Don Elliott, a good friend of mine, gave me the CD of Dr. Wallach, and then he was keep telling me to call him and be on this program. He's a little bit pushy, and I tried another product from Canada that did not my body did not process. So then I called. He gave me Dr. Wallach's personal representative. Her name is Phyllis Anderson.
Yeah.
And I talked to her, and she told me, she said, call Dr. Glidden because Dr. Wallach is promoting his new book, and he might not be on the radio that often, and
Right.
you're better off to get in touch with Dr. Glidden. And then I went on the website and watched your 10 Best Foods and some other ones on the radio.
Oh, yeah,
So I
really great.
enjoy watching those.
Good, very good. Well, I appreciate
Right
the kind
now-
words. So you want to order this stuff from the people that brought you in, the guy that was bugging you, right?
Yes.
Call him
he's
up.
not ordering because he's a customer, but I'm going to order from Phyllis. I got his phone number and everything, so.
Okay, great. Great, Israel. So give that stuff a roll. Give it a try. If you have any trouble with it whatsoever, just call me back and I'll help you along with it.
All right, sounds good, Dr. Glidden. Thank you
All right.
so much.
You're welcome, Israel. You can thank me really after it works. I appreciate the trust. Kansas is up next. Let's go and talk to Sue. Hey, Sue. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. I have a question about diatomaceous earth.
Oh, I love diatomaceous earth for bug repellent stuff. Diatomaceous earth, if you sprinkle it around the house or in copious amounts, right? Have you ever looked at diatomaceous earth under a microscope?
Nope.
Was that a yes or a no?
Isn't it ground up? No. Is it ground up fossil shells? Is that what it is?
No. There are these little eeny weeny teeny jelly beany microscopic organisms. And if you look at them under, even a magnifying glass, a microscope is better. Just do a Google search for diatomaceous earth and they'll show you pictures of it. You won't believe it. They're like these little miniature seashell, little tiny organisms, unbelievably complex geometric shapes. But the thing about diatomaceous earth is many of the diatoms, they're called diatoms, have really sharp edges. And now these things are microscopic. They're like tiny, right? But they got really sharp edges, a lot of them. So when you put diatomaceous earth around the perimeter of your house and, the ant or the aphid or the spider crawls across it, they get cut to pieces and they don't make it to the house and they die. So diatomaceous earth outside the perimeter of the house as an insect repellent is awesome. Inside the human body, not so much.
What does it do inside the human body?
Well, it's like swallowing little teeny weeny microscopic razors. It's gonna cut you. I mean, it's gonna microscopically. It's not a good idea. It's like swallowing little tiny. When we were kids, and there was that myth about the crazy person down the street on Halloween is gonna put the razor in the apple. Remember that myth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of like that the diatoms, the ones with the sharp edges, when you swallow, I wouldn't want to swallow that. There's no way I'd swallow that because as it rolls through the intestinal tract, it's going to slice the crap out of it. And that's just a bad
Well, let
idea.
me tell you what. Now, does that repair if you stop doing it?
Yes. If you give the gut nutrients enough to do it. Now, some people recommend diatomaceous earth internally to kill parasites. But that's how it kills the parasites. It slices them to ribbons. But it's a dead shell. There's no intelligence there. It's just this inert substance rolling through the intestinal tract. And don't do it. Don't do it. Stop doing it.
Does it destroy the villi?
Yes. I would theoretically, yeah. It's whatever it comes across, it's going to slice to ribbons. I mean, no kidding. Don't do it. And
Okay,
if you've been doing it, stop doing it because it's not a good idea.
Okay. Now, what about like washing your face with it or something like that?
Well, that's different. Yeah, ostensibly, you could use it as an exfoliant, right, to remove dead skin cells. I'd be real cautious with it, though, and I'd kind of do an experiment with that to see how effective it was. Hey, we're out of time, Sue. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Glidden.
This is drgliddenshow.tv. That's the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. Check out the live stream. There are 72 viewers on YouTube and 69 people watching in watching and engaging in the chat room, people from all around the world. Jake from Lithuania is here. Jesse from Switzerland. Harvey from Sacramento. Mary from Albany, Oregon. T. Ray is in San Mateo, California. Terry in Alabama. Triplet Mom Christine is here. Josh from San Mateo. VJ is with us. Gary, Teresa and Wes in Iowa. Petra, Kara from Canada. Betsy Burke in San Diego. Darren Moy from Surrey, British Columbia. We're all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. This is a worldwide phenomenon. What are you waiting for? Let's go to Georgia and see what Tammy's up to. Hey, Tammy, thanks for waiting. You are live.
Oh, hi, Dr. Lynn. This is Tam. I had two really, really quick questions, and one was I prepare my eggs over easy in a cast iron pan with lard. Is that also on the bad food list?
No, that's on the awesomely good for you. That's the most awesome food you can eat list. That's awesome. You did that exactly correct.
Awesome. Okay, and the second one is my husband is a renal transplant patient, as I was telling you yesterday, but we were wondering if it was okay for him to be on the Tangy Tangerine. He's on the Osteo, the Glucogel liquid, selenium, and...
Oh, because of the rejection meds?
Yeah. I mean, he was able to actually, he's been taking the longevity products for the last 2 months, and he actually came off of his heart medicine that they put him on. So the only two medicines that he's on right now are the anti-rejection medicine.
Well, again, from the proper perspective, everything makes sense, right? I mean, if you went outside and didn't know anything about gravity and you looked at the sun rise in the east and set in the west, you could logically conclude that the sun is moving around the earth. I mean, look, it's moving. You can see it. You knucklehead, it's moving, right? But it is, in fact, only by lack of perspective that appears to be moving. It's actually the Earth spinning on its axis that makes the sun appear to move. But if you didn't know that, you'd be wrong. Well, the way that the MDs understand this, and then the pharmaceutical industry, I think, is complicit here, but I have no proof of that. When you take any medication in your body, and I don't care what it is, I don't care, any prescription medication works in the human body, not by creating pixie dust and magic, but drugs work in the body by upregulating and messing with the biochemical pathways that are present in your body. Now, what's the biochemistry of your body made from? Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids, the 90 essential nutrients, right? And proteins and the stuff that the body's made from. So the longer you take a drug, the more deficient you become in nutrients because the drug burns through your nutrients. That's how the drug works. It burns through your nutrients. Now, which is why when people are on medications for long term, like everybody in the world is, after a year or two or even a couple of months, the medication stops working and the pharmacist or the doctor has to increase the dose. Or they add another drug or a third or a fourth drug to augment the action of the drug because it just doesn't work the way that it did when they first gave it. Well, why is that? Well, because the drug has burned through your body's nutrients. Now, in a perfect world, the pharmaceutical, you don't think the pharmaceutical industry knows this? You know how smart these people are that make drugs? Do you have any idea how complicated biochemistry on this level is? I mean, you really have to be a brainiac to figure this stuff out. But they know that the drugs need vitamins to work. And in an ethical world, it would be mandatory for them to put vitamins and minerals in the drugs. But they don't. Because if they did that, they would sell less drugs. You see how that works? So anybody taking any prescription medication, whether they need it or not, they're taking it. That drug is burning through their raw materials. So when, in addition to taking the medication, you add proper medical nutrition into the mix, the medication is going to work more effectively. So it's exactly the opposite of what everybody thinks. The medical nutrition program will make the anti-rejection meds work better. So there's no harm and no foul there. They will work better. So he needs to get on board with this full boat program as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense. All right, Tammy, you're the greatest. I appreciate your trust. All right, a little bit of perspective makes all the difference in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We're dying because of lack of it. Literally dying. leading cause of death, MD-directed medical therapeutics. Fire your medical doctor now. Become an insider. Go to my website, become an insider. Gain access to knowledge, real information about pragmatic steps you can take right now to optimize your body's ability to fix itself. Mario from Virginia is up next. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Boilerplate Foundation Medical Nutrition for the Masses. That's what we talk about here. That's where we Boilerplate Foundation Medical Nutrition for the Masses. That's what we talk about here every day. This is what we roll out for the unsuspecting public, the needy amongst us. Free information about steps you can take right now to optimize your body's ability to have optimal function, to support and promote its ability to heal itself, right? I mean, you cut your hand, and do you have to tell your immune system to upregulate, T cell production and increase macrophage response time and lay down fibrinogen? Do you have to do that? You don't even know what that is. All you have to do is keep it clean. It heals itself. You eat a banana. Do you have to tell your stomach how to digest it? Tell your stomach when to pump it into your small intestine and how to do that, and then tell your small intestine how to absorb it. And then once it's absorbed into your blood, do you have to tell all of the trillions of your cells what to do with all of that? And then do you have to tell your large intestine how to get rid of it? No. It happens all by itself, right? All by itself. This is the single biggest thing that we've overlooked. Our bodies have intelligence, period. And it's at the cellular level. Now, I believe that the intelligence that the body has is given to the body by the presence of your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it is that brings light to your eyes. Whatever it is that leaves your body at the moment of death. That's running the show, folks. It's running the show. Your body grew itself all by itself from a tiny single-celled organism into you. All by itself. You think if it can do that, it knows how to fix itself? Well, the MDs say no, no, no. But every holistic doctor in the world says yes, yes, yes. And, like Dr. Phil says, how are those MD therapeutics working for you? How's that working? You feel better since you've been following the dictates of the MD? Is your mood better, your energy better, your muscles and joints? And how you doing? How you doing? Not too good, are you? And how are your kids? How are your parents? How are your grandparents? Can your grandparents remember your name? Or do they need to be in the old folks' home yet? Because they're going to need to be there. It's only a matter of time. Now, people think that this is just life, but this is not just life. This is life under the, the advice of your MD. This is mediocre medical treatments administered by your MD. This is what makes people die. This is what makes people suffer. It's mediocre, old-fashioned, outdated, ridiculous, symptom-suppressive medical therapeutics delivered by a for-profit, out-of-control, monopolistic medical agency, the MDs. Your medical doctor does not know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is only one tiny aspect of the greater pie of medical science. Fire your medical doctor if you're suffering with a chronic health condition. Come to us instead. You're going to love how you feel. Let's go to Virginia, talk to Mario. Hey, Mario, did you know that they named a video game after you? Did you know that?
Yeah, I know, Dr. Glenn. How you doing?
I'm great, man. What's going on?
Well, I'm just calling because, two questions. The first one is about congestion.
Yeah.
For the last few years, I've been feeling congested all the time. Like my nasal passages are always blocked. I feel my ears get clogged all the time, and the throat is always dry, and it feels as if there was phlegm in there, but nothing ever comes out. It's just really annoying. I'm congested all the time. My temple, I feel pressure in my temples, and I try a few natural things, but nothing is really working.
Well, it's interesting that, I'm not surprised that nothing is working, because really the problem here is not what's not in your body, like you haven't found the right nutritional supplement yet, but oftentimes the problem with this is what is going into your body. So most of the time, this chronic upper respiratory tract congestive, dry congestion thing with not a whole lot of mucus production is caused by a low-grade intolerance to a food or foods that you're eating, a low-grade intolerance to foods. You don't know what your blood type is off the top of your head, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, so and what part of the world are you from? What's your heritage? Are you Irish? Are you Scottish? Are you Egyptian? Or
I'm from Colombia, South America.
South America. Okay, so that doesn't help very much. All right, so how much cow's milk or cheese or yogurt do you eat?
No, I don't do dairy at all.
How long have you been dairy free?
I never really did it through my life. I never liked it.
So your whole life you've been staying away from cow's milk. So do you goat's milk or sheep's milk instead?
No, nothing. I just do coconut milk.
Okay. All right, good. Are you on any type of dietary discipline, like you're a vegetarian or a lacto-ovo vegan or anything like that?
I tried that for a while, a few years ago, but it didn't last too long. But no, right now I eat meats and everything, butter, eggs, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just as an aside, one of my favorite restaurant chains is the Brazilian steakhouses. Man, I love going to those.
Oh,
places.
I love those. Yeah, of course.
Oh, right. That stuff is great.
Yeah.
I feel like I've died and gone to heaven. All right. So, how about grains? What grains are you eating, if any?
That's the thing. I don't do that a lot. I've never been a bread guy. I don't like bread. So I'm basically gluten-free, really, because I don't do that stuff either.
Okay. So then there's only two other things that are left here, and that's that there's not enough water in your body, that you're just simply dehydrated, or there are not enough essential fatty acids in the body, EFAs. So how much do you weigh?
182.
All right. So here's what I would like you to do. Are you doing any longevity supplements yet?
I just ordered one, and I tried the what you call it, the Beyond Tangerine.
What happened? How did you feel when you did that?
Well, it was just this morning, but I feel the same. But
today was your very first dose of Beyond Tangerine? Wow, that's awesome. All right, great. Okay, so here's, I'm sorry, you said you're how much do you weigh again?
182.
All right, so here's how I would take the Beyond Tangerine if I were you, okay?
Okay.
Because it's dosed based on your weight. And, depending on who told you about it and how you heard about it and where you got it, they might have told you how to take it or they might not have told you how to take it correctly. But I'm going to tell you how to take it correctly. I'm glad you called.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
All right. In the canister, there's a little scoop, right?
Yep.
You take one level scoop in about 12 ounces of water, 8 to 12 ounces of water.
Yes.
4 times a day.
4 times. Okay.
Yep. And you want to take about a half an hour to drink each dose down. You don't want to just chug it down. You want to sip from it slowly over the course of 30 minutes, more or less, each time.
Oh, okay.
And spread them out, right? So do a glass in the morning, a glass with lunch, a glass in the afternoon, a glass with dinner, whatever. Okay?
All right. Okay.
One level scoop in 8 to 12 ounces of water 4 times a day.
Okay.
Now, you also need to get some essential fatty acids, and I believe that, your upper respiratory tract is just dried out. And if it's not an allergic reaction from food, which it probably isn't because of your health history, then the next biggest thing to consider here, right, where there's smoke, there's fire, is a deficiency in the stuff, the nutrients that the mucous membranes in your upper respiratory tract need in order to stay healthy, and that's essential fatty acids. So because of the chronic nature of this problem, I would do a strong intervention for 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
So here's what I'm going to recommend you do. All right.
Okay.
I want you to take 15 essential fatty acid caps a day. 15. 5 with breakfast, 5 with lunch, and 5 with dinner.
Okay.
For 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
5 with breakfast, 5 with. Don't take that stuff on an empty stomach, or you'll be burping up fish oil all day long, but your girlfriend will hate you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
But you guys sell that, right?
Yeah, we sell it. And now the best way, really, the most economical way to get everything that your body needs, because our message here is that there are 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs, 90. And the Beyond Tangy Tangerine has about, well, I don't know, 80, but it doesn't have all 90 of those. There's 2 other supplements that you need in order to get all 90 essential nutrients and to get the most bang out of this buck that you possibly can. So the most economical way to get all 90 essential nutrients is purchasing a product. It's 3 products that they bundle together. It's called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 Liquid. And God only knows why it's such a long name. It's called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 Liquid. All right?
Sure. Okay.
Now, in a perfect world, because of your body weight, you would need 2 of those a month.
2 a month? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's in your next order, that's what I would get. I would get 2 of those a month. And then you can, if you do that, if you decide to do that, you can call me back. I'll tell you how to take it. Or you can just get in touch with the person who introduced you to Youngevity, and they can tell you how to take it. Or you can go to my website, become an insider, go to drglidden.com, sign up for my insider subscription, and I've got webinars in there that'll walk you right through how to do it. And you can watch those from the comfort of your own home.
Can I ask you something really quick?
Yeah.
Okay. It's about water. I've been drinking distilled water, and I know you don't agree with that.
I don't. But you're going to die.
Yeah. My question is, can I just add minerals to that? Let's say I take a gallon of distilled water and I add minerals to that?
Absolutely. Yes, positively you can. Absolutely. And you need to do that because distilled water, right, it doesn't have any pollutants in it. It doesn't have any crap in it, but it doesn't have any of the good stuff in it either. And if you drink just distilled water, it's actually going to create a reverse osmotic gradient in the body, and it's going to suck out of your bones the minerals that you're trying to put back in. So if you're
I've been doing that for like 4 years.
So that's
all I drink, and I can drink like close to 50, 64 ounces a day of that.
Well, all right. So that's probably why, this other stuff is starting to deteriorate in your body, because every time you drink that stuff, it's pulling nutrients out of the tissue. Yes. So just get the plant-derived minerals as a standalone product. And I would do
how much do you think I should put there?
I would do 1 quart. I would do 1 quart of the plant-derived minerals to 5 gallons of water.
1 quart to 5 gallons. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Let me know how you feel. And you might also want to experiment with just taking the plant-derived minerals as a standalone product for a couple of weeks into your body. At your body weight, I would do 2 ounces a day. Just shoot it down. In addition to the stuff that you're mixing in the water, because if you've been doing distilled water for 5 years, you're minerally deficient, rather than vitamin deficient or anything else, right? So you really need to put back the minerals in your body in excess, and I would lean on that heavily for a couple of weeks.
All right, Dr. Glenn. Thank you very much.
Mario, hey, you're the greatest, man. I appreciate your showing up here. Welcome to Youngevity. I'm very excited about what's going to happen to you moving forward. Call us back from time to time with a report. I love it when people do that because, we really are all in this together. And it really is Youngevity Nation worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. What are you waiting for? Join the party. Go to drglidden.com and click on the button Join Team Glidden, or call the number that your local radio station delivers at the commercial breaks. Get with the program. Back after these. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, Dr. Glidden, why didn't you become a singer? I know. It's kind of tragic when someone misses their calling in life. Let's go to Massachusetts and talk to Kwabima. Hey, Kwabima. In my old Massachusetts stomping ground. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Thank you, Dr. Glidden. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much. What's going on?
Great sense of humor, man, with all the knowledge you have.
Well, I got to have a sense of humor. I'd just walk into the ocean one night and just keep going because, it's so crazy, right? It's such a crazy world that we live in, man.
Yeah, my sister actually weighs 140, and she's in Ghana now. And ironically, we get the time last week when Robin Williams was being pronounced dead.
Yeah.
I was looking for people to check her back into hospital, psychiatric hospital in Ghana, from depression.
Yeah.
And she's been struggling for the last 10 years, in and out, taking all these psychotics. Now she gets mad. She doesn't want to take them. And then it comes back again, lapses for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
But I've been showing her these videos that we have, and she's interested in trying them. I bought the pack for her, but I want you to write it down for me, how she should take her dosage, and then what the withdrawal symptoms actually too.
Okay, so, all right, so she needs to consult with a psychiatrist about the medication that she's on as far as a reduction schedule, because there are some meds that you can stop cold turkey, and there are some meds that you have to wean off of slowly. The problem here with antidepressants is, they don't work, number one, and because of what they do to your brain chemistry, when the dose is upped or reduced for whatever reason, that's when the side effects really roll into town. Right. So when we're pulling people off of antidepressants appropriately, that's kind of when they're in the danger zone, because that's when the brain chemistry is starting really to go crazy, because, the drugs are just doing crazy things to the brain. And then when you withdraw them, all kinds of funny things happen. So it's very important that she understands that she can't do this by herself, that she has to do it with professional supervision. And the pharmacist will know what type of reduction schedule to give her based on her age and her body weight and the dose that she's on right now. Okay, so she needs to dial that in with a medical professional in Ghana, number one. Number two, I wouldn't even consider starting a reduction schedule for antidepressants until I'd been on Youngevity for 2 months, 8 weeks. So she eliminates the 10 bad foods, she takes Youngevity for 2 months, and then she starts to withdraw from the meds. That's how I would do it, right?
So take it alongside what she's doing.
Yeah, alongside what she's doing. So I would just have her maintain the dose right now, take Youngevity, and then 2 months from now, start to come off of the meds, because her body's going to be nutrified better in 2 months, and her system's going to be much more able to handle that, right? Makes sense. Now, let's not overlook the obvious, okay? It would be prudent for her to consume a diet that's high in cholesterol and low in sugar. And you should be giving her the sweeties in addition to extra essential fatty acids, right?
We got that one, yeah.
All right, great. So that's good. The diet's a pretty big deal, and a recommendation here would be cut way back on sugar, even natural sugar, fruit juice, dried fruit, honey, maple syrup, agave. Just cut way back on that stuff, and eat a diet that's high in protein, that's high in fat. A diet that's high in protein and that's high in fat as she's taking the nutritional supplements. Kwabima, man, you're going to do a lot. You're going to do a lot of good stuff for this person. You're going to do a lot of good stuff for a lot of people in the world. I want you to understand this. I want you to rise to the challenge, and I want you to become an engine for social change here. And how do we do this? Just by telling the truth and pointing. I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. Here, check this webinar out. Here, check this DVD out. Here, check this radio show out. And this is how we're going to change the world, man. Locked together. One team, one dream moving forward. I appreciate you very much. We're out of time, regretfully. Ladies and gentlemen, next live broadcast, God willing, and the creek don't rise, tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time. Until then, live long and prosper. Dr. Glidden, over and out.